That's a tough one. I think I might have to choose. Well, okay, if it was a little earlier, I'd say Counting Crows, because it's hugely influential to me when I was younger.
Okay.
I learned how to play guitar by playing along with Counting Crows records.
Okay.
Well, with one record in particular, actually, August Never After. But that was younger than 15, so not them. I mean, stuff like kind of The Descendants kind of springs to mind at this point. Looking a bit later, I mean, Springsteen was a big part of my kind of musical reorganization in my head, if you like. But I mean, I suppose one band that's remained constant through all of that remains a huge influence on what I do today is the Weekendance. I got into the Weekendance probably when I was about 15, actually, at it, and yeah, and they've just, I don't know, there's something about their approach to kind of sort of slightly countryish, slightly indie-ish rock music that is kind of what I do too, and yeah, I'm gonna pick them. That's actually an easy question for me. Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes, I think, is hands down their best record. As a band, they've kind of like the complication of their music has kind of increased as they've gone on, and that record's the perfect one for me of the mix of kind of pop and thrash, essentially. I do like the records they've done afterwards, but it's got a tiny bit too clinical and sort of intellectual almost for my taste after that point. But Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes, I think, is a contender for the greatest punk record ever made. Contender. Cool. Didn't say actually, but contender. My first live concert was a band called Snug. Who largely forgotten by history. Snug, like tiny English pop punk.
Not Snuff.
Not Snuff, no. Although I did see Snuff many times back in the day. Snug were a band who were around for about 5 minutes and were passingly popular. But weirdly, the guitar player in Snug is a guy called Ed Harcourt, who's gone on to be a kind of Rufus Wainwright style singer-songwriter who's now, I took him on tour in the UK recently and he's a total genius and he's amazing. But it's just funny how our paths have kind of reconnected years later. I was hanging out with John in Winnipeg last year, towards the end of last year, and he gave me a copy of the solo record and said, have a listen, tell me what you think, and I'm completely obsessed with it. The guys from the European label festival, Van Cleef Grand Hotel Van Cleef Records, just said, look, do you want to write something for this?
Yeah.
And I said, I've kind of half done it already in my head. So, but I did actually then spend quite a long time over it, because I've never really done anything, been asked to do anything like that. I played piano pretty badly. I played piano on the song Jet Lag on the album. Actually, there's a good story behind that. The original version of Jet Lag, which is actually on the second 3 years, which we were recording in that session for Love Our Own Song, is kind of a fast, kind of upbeat, weird rock song. And it just wasn't coming together in the studio, and something about it was just pissing me off. So I sort of figured out a version of it on piano and was just kind of hammering away at it. And it was kind of funny because it was quite late at night and I think I was quite drunk. But I was there playing piano and then I kind of had my eyes closed because I was just trying to feel it out, and I opened my eyes and Ben was very, very quietly arranging microphones around me. And he just went... I was like, okay. And if you listen and the thing is, there wasn't really a proper live room because it wasn't a studio we recorded in. It was just it was an outhouse at a farm. And there was a kitchen, and Ben went and sat in the kitchen, just left me to it, and I did about 5 takes in a row, kind of club footing it around the place. And then I did one that worked, and at the end of it I let the chord ring out for ages, and I went, that's the one, and Ben, it's on the record, we left the record. He comes out of this kitchen and he's like, was it? And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, good. And I thought that was kind of a cool way to finish a record as well, you know. So, anyway, I also play mandolin and banjo and other stringed instruments, but that's better. My parents made me get music lessons. This was before I knew what rock and roll was, and I kind of didn't really try, and my music teacher told me that I wasn't musical and I should do something else in my time. The minute that I kind of got into rock and roll music, and it wasn't even something I ever considered, had to think about really. It was just like, sweet, I want to do that. I want to get involved.